In one of Plato's dialogues, Socrates says to a young man, "I see, my dear Theaetetus, that Theodorus had a true insight into your nature when he said that you were a philosopher. For wonder is the feeling of a philosopher, and philosophy begins in wonder." Wonder is the feeling of a philosopher? Take a room full of philosophers today. What do they have in common? Is it wonder? Do they feel what Socrates called the feeling of a philosopher? Is there today a feeling that philosophers share, by and large, that gets them into philosophy? It's not impossible. But if there were such a thing, it would be a feeling about philosophy. Socrates was certainly talking about something else. The order in which Odysseus and his kind behave in this honorable way, by doing as they do, the order in which the sea moves, the tide surges, ebbs and flows, in which water behaves as water behaves. It's not just regularity that we're talking about. We think of the concept of order as simply the regularity of nature. It is not just that some existing thing behaves regularly, according to some law or regulation. What is it for the thing to exist in the first place? For the seed to be, it must be something. It must be some way. Why is this so? Why are there things that are as they are and do as they do? Why is there anything at all? How does reality have this structure? One of the inscriptions carved into the temple of Apollo at Delphi was, "Bow before the divine." Fundamentally, these Greek thinkers and poets were claimed by the idea that, in existence, it is not just us, opposite to the understanding that is entrenching itself in our day. In our day only, to be an atheist in the 18th century was to reject the idea of the Christian God. The Greeks, of course, did not believe in the Christian God. My point being that you can reject also what they understood. To be an atheist today is increasingly against the divine and all it means, from reverence to being, to law, to dignity. It is not at all the case that belief in the gods divinizes the world. That the order is divine is not a religious belief. It is essentially the recognition of a transcendent reality. Transcending what? The smallness of our lives, which we project onto things. Yet the world does not bear our image. What we find before us, having broken from our shell, is a reality of resplendent and also terrible things into which man is born, and that he is equipped to recognize. Things that are the directing conditions of his life. This is not a religious belief, the belief of a person committed to religion, but a rational belief, which then binds a person